What is going on, YouTube? I am Lamont at large. Today we are at the Cunningham Memorial Park Cemetery here in St. Albans, West Virginia. I'm here to visit the grave of one Dovie Blanche Dean. She was convicted and sentenced to die via electric chair in Ohio for the poisoned murder of her then husband, Hawkins Dean. Why did she murder her own husband? Well, in so many words, he wouldn't give her the... Let's just get into the story. As I bravely venture out into the hot, humid, and oppressive summer heat here in St. Albans, West Virginia. This channel is rated PG-13 and will remain so, with some elements of rated R material every now and then, just to throw in the old monkey wrench into the cogs, the spinning wheels, the gears that this channel is running from. Anyways, let's get into this story because it is a quick story, but it's a little bit strange. So who is Dovie Blanche Dean? Well, Dovie was born on February 25th, 1898. She was born in West Virginia. And there's not a whole lot of information about this lady other than the fact that she had 6 children. She was married 2 times before her third marriage to Hawkins. So all of her kids, by that time, they were all grown. And she had all of those kids with a man with the last name of Myers. So let's get into this story. So after she divorces her husband, by dumb chance, he ends up going to jail for some unknown crime that I'm not really sure what he did. So he goes to jail. She gets married the very next day on April 13th, 1952. And she marries a man that's a little bit older than her at the time of the marriage. He was 69 years old. So he'd have been a good 13, 14 years older than her. And he was retired. He was a farmer. So probably, made some a decent living in his life, but by far, definitely not a rich man by any means at all. So they get together, and maybe it was love at first sight. Who knows why she married him? Maybe she loved him, who knows? And right after the marriage, Hawkins starts feeling kind of sick, kind of like he's not feeling all that hot. One night he drank some milk, and I guess the milk didn't agree with him because he started coming down with this really, really bad stomach ache. So Dovie, being the ever so loving wife that she is, she took him in their vehicle to the hospital, and I don't know, maybe the doctor said, just toughen up, kid, take some Pepto or whatever concoction they used to sell over the counter at the time. So he goes back home and his stomach settles and everything's okay. And then he has another problem again with his stomach. And this time again, he goes to the hospital, and maybe the doctor says, what did you eat, man? What are you eating? He's like, I'm just, whatever. I love milk. I mean, who doesn't? Especially with cereal. So he ends up getting sick a couple more times, right? And the last time that he would get sick, very sick, was on August 22nd of 1952. So they have been married now 4 months, only 4 months, right? And the pain is unbearable. It's unbelievable. Rushed right to the hospital, and that is where he died. The doctors could not save him. So the attending physician that was on duty when Mr. Dean died pulls Dovie, to the side and said, hey, can you talk about what his diet was like for the last, 2 weeks? And she said, just starts naming off a bunch of, average food. You drank a little bit of beer, you like milk, blah, 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 blah. Doctor's a little concerned because Dovie, something's a little odd. She's not really reacting how a normal wife would react when their husband has just died. Granted that they hadn't been married very long, but still, nonetheless, even if a person doesn't know somebody that well, a sense of grief and shock and all that. Some people handle it differently, but I guess you could say that he described her as very stoic, if you will. So an autopsy is performed, of course, because this death that just occurred, they don't know what happened to him other than he complained of like a burning sensation and just, diarrhea, vomiting, stomach cramps, very severe stomach cramps. So they take his body and they take him to the coroner's office for autopsy, and the coroner, he makes the incision. You make the Y incision near the collarbone, I believe, and then you take the incision from the middle of the chest and all the way down to the pubic bone. Open it right up like a filleted fish. If you've ever seen an autopsy, you'll never want to see one ever again in front of you. I've seen one in front of me, and I'll never forget them doing that. So they opened him up, and as soon as the contents of the inside of Hawkins' body is made readily available to the eyes that are doing the autopsy, bam, the first instant sign of arsenic poisoning, bright red organs. Okay, that is a telltale sign of arsenic poisoning. I mean, as far as he's concerned, the medical examiner doesn't even have to do the autopsy. He can stop the autopsy. He can be like, okay, that's it, because he already knows, okay, this is arsenic poisoning. So he does a toxicology report, and of course, there's enough arsenic in his body to put down a lot of racehorses. Let's just say that, right? So they give their findings to the detectives. And the detectives, well, okay, how does one ingest enough arsenic to kill 10 thoroughbreds? So they call her down to the sheriff's department, and they say, okay, listen. We just got the autopsy report back from your husband's autopsy, and it looks like he died by arsenic poisoning. And Dovie says, what? Arsenic poisoning? How did that happen? Well, I don't know. Why don't you tell us, murderer? I'm sure they didn't say that, but that's what they were thinking. So they start grilling her. They're like, what's going on? Like, it's impossible to accidentally take arsenic. People that die from arsenic poisoning, it's always a murder unless they tend to do it themselves, you know? So they're grilling her. You know, they're probably playing good cop, good cop, worser cop, bad cop, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Lovey says, you know what? I think my son did it. Yeah, I think my son did. It was my son. That bastard. I cannot believe he did that. And these detectives are like, okay, so let's go talk to the son, right? Because usually in crimes like this, when there's a murder, obviously, it's always going to be suspected that the lover or the boyfriend or the wife or the husband, so forth and so on, is usually the guilty party. So they pull in her son and they say, listen, Mr. Myers, your mother that bore you life, she's saying that you're a low-down arsenic putting in milk type murdering person thug scumbag. And I don't know what your reaction would personally be if you were convicted of a murder, but I'm pretty sure all of our reaction is going to be, you know, like what? I didn't do that. What are you, crazy? I didn't do nothing of a kind. You're going to defend yourself. You're going to defend yourself. You're going to vehemently deny it. It's just an average human reaction to being accused of something that you damn sure know you had nothing to do. And he just jumped out of his shoes and starts doing the bit, how we all would do. I didn't do anything, I'm, blah, blah, blah. Just vehemently, outright denying it. And can you believe the shock, the absolute shock, to find out that your mother is accusing you of some murder that you had nothing to do with? So after they're done talking to him, all the detectives, they all believe him. They all know damn well he had nothing to do with it. And also the fact that right after they got married, Hawkins made Dovie the sole beneficiary of his $27,000 life insurance policy. Guys, let's not forget, $27,000, today's money, it's going to be well over $250,000. So they talked to her again, and they said, listen, kid, I mean, she ain't no kid anymore. I mean, she's like, well past what, 54, 55? She's in her mid-50s. She ain't no kid anymore. And they said, listen, we want to know the truth. And she said, I told you the truth. I think my son, I think he did it. Yeah, my son. And one of the detectives tells her, quote, any woman that could accuse her son of such a crime could have easily done it herself. So now this lady knows the jig is up. Come on. She knows the jig is up. She knows that they know that she knows that they know that she knows that they know that she's a murdery scumbag. Even the birds here know what's up, right? We're not going to go over that house because that dog barked at me earlier. We're going to get away from that house. So finally, after hours of just her denying it, her lying through her dentures or whatever, she finally says, you know what? I did it. But he was going to kill me first. That whole spiel, that whole lie, claiming that he threatened to kill her. Yeah, right. You're a liar. You're a liar, pants on fire. So they say, look, this is a very, very serious crime that you committed, ma'am. Can we just get the friggin' truth out of you? And she says, okay, listen. I'm a woman. I'm only in my mid-50s. And let's just say this, kids, because we got to keep this channel as clean as possible. There are certain urges that I need that Hawkins couldn't provide. Services, if you will. I had a scratch, I had an itch, and he couldn't perform his husbandly duties. When I tried to, let my, when we're lying in bed, let my fingers do the walking, so to speak, he would smack my hand away from me. I'm not in the mood. I'm 70 years old or something, whatever. She was, she was trying to get that, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? She wanted that. Use your imaginations, kids. And basically, this guy married her because he wanted a housekeeper. It's what it's believed. She wanted a home, a life, a husband that could perform, can lay it down, so to speak, how the kids say it nowadays. And he couldn't. He just couldn't do it. So September 12th, 1952, Dovie is arrested and charged with the first-degree murder of her husband. And she goes on trial. And the trial didn't take very long. And after the closing arguments on both sides were made, the juror, they went into the jury room. It took them about 40 minutes to figure out that this lady is guilty as all get out, of course. Now, here's the thing. Not a lot of women get charged with murder and actually get executed. The judge in the case, he didn't really want to sentence her to die. in the electric chair? He had to, because that was the law. Premeditated murder? You tried to poison him 4 times. The 4th time was the charm, I guess. Yeah, the law said you must sentence the person that was committed of that crime to death. So he didn't have a choice. So she was sentenced to death. They picked her up and they threw her in the prison. I believe somewhere in Columbus is where the execution occurred. And while she was locked up, she made a new friend, a little cool little parakeet or bird that would sit on top of her head. Doesn't she look happy in that picture? Great times. Great times. So, the date arrives. January 15th, 1954. She's wearing a lovely green dress. They knock on her cell. Knock, knock, knock. She knows what day it is. She knows what time. She knows what's up. She knows what's up. It's time to pay the piper, kid. You could have changed your mind from killing your husband, but you just didn't want to. You wanted to kill him. So the prison barber takes an electric, buzz clipper thingy, shaves the top of her head. And now she looks like one of those monks from the Bible. She walks to the electric chair and she has a seat right in it. Now, she had a request, because, you're about to get zapped with a lot of volts of electricity. You're about to get zapped, lady. Do you have any requests? She said, yes. I'd like to know if somebody can sing a song for me. I would like somebody to sing What a Friend We Have in Jesus. It's definitely not a song that has reached the top charts in the last 2,000 years, but that's the song that she wanted to hear. And the warden, he says, hey, listen, hey guys, hey, yo, hey, does anybody know this song? Anybody want to sing? Huh? Do you have any volunteers? Anybody? No. Nobody wants to sing that song. I would sing it personally, because even though I'm a terrible singer, I'll sing anything. I don't really care. If I were there, I would have done it. But apparently, she had no friends in Jesus because nobody wanted to sing her that song. But her reverend, or the person that was with her at her last moments of life, he read the song to her, which that's not singing, that's reading. Whatever. So they set her down into the electric chair, strap her down, put the mask on, all that stuff. Oh, but then the warden says, oh, wait, hang on, take the mask off. He says, do you have any final words? And she says, yes. Yes, I do. I have some final words right here. When I got on the witness stand, they made light of me because I couldn't cry. And years ago, I couldn't have faced all of those people. And then she said some other words that I had written down, and I lost the other piece of paper. So I'll have to probably either put it on the screen or pin it in the comments. But she basically said that, oh, they made fun of me because I cried. Well, it's kind of weird when you kill your husband and you have no remorse. That's a little bit odd to people. So I'm sorry I couldn't read your last words, because I'll be damned if I go back to my vehicle to find that other piece of paper. But anyways, so we're at the grave of Dovie Blanche Dean. And okay, so check this out. This is her grave right here, right? Right here. And this is her son's grave. This isn't the son that she accused of the murder, because he died before that occurred. So this is John Myers. This is her son from her second marriage, I believe. He actually died a really unfortunate death. He died at work in a boiler explosion. He suffered massive second and third degree steam burns all over his body. So horrible death. And she is buried next to her son. She has no stone. I don't know why, if that just, probably because of you know, it could have been the publicity of the case, and they didn't want to draw too much attention, so they probably just said, like, you know, we'll get a stone later, and they just never did. So she would be right there. I didn't read her whole quote, but I did write down what her last meal was. So let's read what she ate. The Ice Queen, which is some of the newspapers that referred to her because she just had absolutely no remorse during the court trial. If she would have showed some remorse, even though the judge would have still had to sentence her to die, it probably would have made, you know, the public kind of feel bad for her, right? Anyways, this is what she ate. Roast chicken, potatoes, asparagus, green salad with French dressing, coconut cream pie, angel food cake, and a cup of coffee. Boy, if this ain't a Bob Evans commercial, I don't know what is. I'm going right now. Jeez Louise. Well, anyways, like I always say, payable on death. And, you know, it's like this, kids. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a man. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what race you are. You're trying to kill somebody over and over. You know, the first and second time you try to kill him and he's alive, that kind of, you know, you really got to think, okay, you know, I could actually get into some really, really severe trouble over this, right? And you still try to kill him. So, you know, even the psychologist that, you know, they had a court-appointed psychologist that kind of did an evaluation on her, and he said, he was like, you know, she's not insane. She just doesn't show any emotion. No emotion. Anyways, rest in peace to her son. And, you know, to her as well. Maybe she found Jesus. Maybe she found religion. You know, who knows? She could have been a nice woman. Maybe she snapped, you know, because, you know, he wouldn't give her that. Yeah, well, anyways. Okay, guys. I am drenched with sweat now. That 20-minute walk that we just done, I feel like I've just ran through the garden sprinklers. That's how hot and humid it is. Anyways, without further ado, I am going to run for my life to the comforts of my 2007 Dodge Grand Caravan with 315,000 miles on it and still ticking, kids. Guess who got a new thermostat? This guy right here. The guy that's covered in sweat. Anyways, I will see you on the next vlog. Where am I going now? Those trees over there, that's where I'm heading. Y'all be good out there. Don't kill people. Don't put Zip's rat poison in their milk, which is the way that she killed him. She actually, I didn't mention this earlier, but when they went to the house, when she was denying it, they actually, she kept the bottle. So it was Zip's brand rat poison. And they found the bottle in the garage or in the basement, whatever. You know, if you're going to poison your husband, I mean, why are you going to keep the bottle of arsenic? Don't you want to throw that away? Not a very bright woman. Oh, and one last thing. Somebody that, I believe they worked at the prison and they witnessed a bunch of executions. They said that of all the people that they've seen executed, she was the most placid of them all. As opposed to Mrs. Anna Marie Hahn, who actually went screaming, crying, and pleading to the electric chair. And I will be doing her video later on, so watch out for that. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good rest of your evenings, your mornings, your afternoons, wherever you are at, wherever you're watching me. I think I've rambled on and on enough. I gotta get out of here. It's shower time, kids. Catch up with y'all later. Peace out.